Hi and good afternoon, it's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. Guys, in this video I'm going to split it into just two different subjects. First of all, the progress that we're making on the the observatory. We've now, as you can see, added Canada to one of our locations globally now that we are monitoring with our magnetometers the intensity within those regions. Two of these I do believe have gone offline, which is Southern California and Kentucky. I will leave them up for a short period of time, probably another couple of months before I remove them. I guess then if we haven't got no data from those locations, then we simply are not going to get none. But we have got 5 active regions. We've got Perth, Australia, the Gold Coast, Australia, Hong Kong, Tucson, Arizona, and now Canada. And I'm going to be really pushing for that one that we need in Russia and also that one in Brazil. The other thing I'm going to do on the website this week, before the weekend's out actually, is dedicate a page to, I'm not sure what to call it yet, but it's going to be in the lines of, global health and condition. And what we're going to every week is the condition of the Earth's magnetosphere, the position of the magnetic North Pole. We're going to put the weekly data that we collect on the CO2 meter on there. Muons, of course, is going to go on there, the muon count every week, and also soon we'll be adding muons from Perth, Australia as well, just so that we get a general idea of the condition of the health of the planet. And we're also going to add a few other things on that page. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to remove the data every time we add new data. I want to create an archive so you can see things changing when you go on there. You can see the fluctuations that we get with the muons from week to week, and all the other anomalies that we'll be listing on that health page. So it'd be well worth just, if you're interested in what's going on, we can list quite a bit of stuff. We can list the amount of erupting volcanoes, a couple of the largest earthquakes that we had within that week, the muon count, CO2 levels, oxygen levels in the atmosphere, and it will just give you a good general indication from week to week as to what is going on. So we are trying to expand our efforts and make it more easier for you to obtain the data. So you can come onto the website if you want to look at something in particular, like sunspots and sun data. We've got a dedicated page for that. If you're interested in what's going on in your region with regards to the intensity of the magnetism in that region, then it's quick and easy just to click on, if you're in Canada, and get that data up. We've completed a short test of data in Canada. It will be going into its main usage, which is collecting data for the whole month, and then it gets sent back over here from Kendall, one of our new superstars, and it gets processed and then added to the website in the form that you've seen already. So despite the current climate, guys, we are still moving forward, and I think that's the most important thing, is that we don't stop. And not only do we not just stop, but we actually end up going backwards. There's only a couple of things that could possibly make that happen, and that is if we stopped getting funding from you guys. That will end pretty much the activity. I will not be able to invest the time that I do at the moment. And I want to show you in a coming video just an idea I've had. You can't help it, can you? In this current climate, you can't help but want to get things back to normal. And if that means, investing some more of your time in some ideas that might make that happen for all of us, then, I think it's well worth the cause. Even though, when you're making these bespoke pieces of equipment, you're not getting paid. That's the problem. It makes it even harder for you to sacrifice then your time, which you could be using elsewhere to earn money for your family. It's a difficult situation that has been brought on by this current climate with the pandemic that we're all dealing with. I think it's really sad what's happening. Another 1,500 jobs went with British Airways this morning. We've had Virgin Atlantic now file for bankruptcy. You know, it's not just the airline companies, it is businesses across the range, and every time another business has to reduce its activity or go bankrupt, it means that real people like us are going to feel the pinch even more, in a time really where, you know, we could be doing with having more purchasing power with our dollars and pounds and euros. But it's not the case. It seems like even though despite this pandemic's happening, you know, we are paying more and more out of our pocket for the same things we did last year, which was probably a third cheaper. You know, one thing clear to me that has gone up at least a third in 12 months is food, and we know why that is, because the arable cropping land is reducing globally, and it's not being clearly mentioned in mainstream media so that the majority of people become aware of it and probably can act on it. What's happening is they're leaking it out in lower media sources, and you know, people are not informed of these changes that are taking place until they actually go to the checkout and pay for their goods and find out that, hang on, something ain't right here. Last week this was at this price, now it's at this price. Well, I can say that it stems from the changes that we've experienced over the last 30 years with the climate, and as a result of that, it's probably down to the fact that we've got more incoming cosmic rays than we ever have done. So I wouldn't be surprised not only to see food prices going up in value, arable cropping land globally reducing in size, more farmers becoming bankrupt, you know, in the eastern countries, more farmers committing suicide, and etc, etc. But you know, it's going to get worse simply because we haven't reached the equilibrium point. So there's much worse to happen, and it's very likely, like I say, down to, you know, two things that interfere and create the same problem, which inevitably is the cosmic rays. So you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the magnetic pole reversal for one, and the weakening magnetosphere. I'm also talking about the grand solar minimum. The lack of sunspot activity shrinks the heliosphere and in turn allows more cosmic rays in. And you know, we are going to see more cancer rates increasing as this happens. We're going to see more heart attacks increasing as the time goes on, and really now is the time more than ever for such an observatory that we've got right now, covering a lot of these anomalies that are taking place. You know, even though it's sometimes on a daily basis, sometimes on a weekly basis, and like we do on the 17th of every month, you know, check the position of the magnetic North Pole and relay that back to you. So I do feel, even though we are slowly winding down with the money that we raised, that we are still just trying to move forward. It is frustrating sometimes, like when you send out a magnetometer to Canada, you know, it ends up locked up in customs and border control for nearly a month before we get it operational. But you know, we've been patient. It's now online, it's now doing the job, as is all the others that we've got out there, and all we need is to keep the data coming in and then keep the data going back out to you guys so that you're informed of the current changes with regards to some of these major anomalies that are taking place for the first time in our lives. It really is critical, guys, that we continue now and don't give up. Even though, you know, I've got to admit, I feel like I've hit a wall, and all I want to do is, you know, take an easier approach to life, and you know, just go and get a job like everybody else is. And I'm also even considering that again now, going back out to work, you know, as well as doing this. So I don't know socially how I'm going to achieve that, because, you know, I've got a relationship as well, and you know, she likes to see me as well, as, you know, not just every time she comes in the living room just glances over at me buried in the computer all the time. You know, there is a personal life I want to have as well, but you know, I'm prepared to put that little bit extra effort in. I hope a few of you guys are as well, willing to take the observatory under your wing and continue supporting it, because that is the main thing really, that we continue and don't give up and don't stop, of course. So yeah, in the coming days I want to show you what I'm talking about. So I've got this motion detector camera which I've been looking at over the last couple of months, and I've got a good idea for the usage of that in a practical manner, and we might even prototype the very first device. I don't want to give too much away because I want to show you how it works in principle, and then describe how I'm planning to, with the aid of some actuation like stepper motors and things like that, bring it to use at this current time. And like I say, I don't want to give away too much, but I think you'll find it really interesting. And again, we are scratching at the surface of the latest technology and applying it in certain areas. And it's going to require a lot of programming as well, which is something I'm not keen on doing, but I have got a in-depth knowledge now of programming electronics to get them to do what I want. So I was thinking, if I'm going to invest some of my time into something, that this might be something that could pay off later on for me and in turn for the observatory. And that really is it, guys, for this video. I'll mention the link down there. It'd be nice if a few people would just recognise it and help support us here. It gets a bit deflating as the days go past, and we end up with these voids where we haven't raised any money at all. So it just slows us completely down at the end of the day. So there's a link down there if you want to help do if you want to help support the observatory. There it is. Or if you want to join us on Patreon with the other members, then please do. And the only other thing to say is you have an amazing day, and if you're here in the UK, enjoy this amazing weather that we're having, and be safe at the same time. As always, guys, bye for now.